Hey friends, and welcome back to Path of Exile for our day 3 update on our Corrupting Cry Guardian. Now we've got a bunch of updates to share today. Yesterday on stream we made quite a few updates, and then I continued to farm essences off stream, and I did a bit of farming this morning, also trying to advance my atlas and get these 2 invitations, which we'll do as soon as we start stream. So we have been doing essence farming for currency and use that currency to jumpstart a couple of our items and craft a little bit. Like I talked about yesterday, the first thing on our agenda was to get the staff upgraded, so we ran a beach map pretty early on and then crafted this up with the +1 socketed gems and the +2 socketed support gems, which is giving us +3 on our Corrupting Cry. And we also got an Enlighten, which is getting boosted to level 5 from its level 2. And hopefully we can get a level 3 at some point to boost that even more. What this means is, because we now have Enlighten, we can now fit in Pride, which is giving us another massive damage boost. Outside of that, we've recrafted our helmet to get us more mana reservation efficiency on both the item and in the implicit, and it's also giving us a significantly increased amount of armor and ES. Our body armor has also been recrafted. It is not as good, but it is giving us a nice amount of ES, and it's giving us reservation efficiency. Our body armor has also been recrafted. It's giving us a ton of life with the fractured mod, and it's also giving us reservation efficiency and a nice chunk of armor and ES. I do want this to be better because I want more armor and ES from our body armor, but that's a future problem. Our amulet and rings have not changed. They really need to, but we haven't gotten there yet, and our gloves haven't changed either. We do want to replace these gloves at some point. We want some minion damage gloves, and maybe we'll get to that today. Our boots are still the same. We really need to upgrade these, get more resistances on these, and also change it to a strength int base instead of a strength dex base. And last up, our Stygian Vise, which we have replaced. So our Stygian Vise, we wanted to get something a little better, and we only got something a little better. Ideally, we want 2 resistances on this instead of Flask Effect Duration, but all we did here is we grabbed a Stygian Vise base and slam on the Chaos Resistance Essence of Envy until we got something that we were happy with. So we wanted large maximum life, hopefully another resistance, and an empty suffix so that we could craft in Regenerate Energy Shield per second, which is a hugely beneficial mod, especially when we're right next to rares or uniques, because that's just 150 free regeneration. Alright, and then some of the most important upgrades we made were actually to our grafts. So yesterday I was looking around for easy ways to upgrade, and I found out that grafts have the beneficial mods, but I always thought the beneficial mods weren't that impactful until I started looking and found out that they are actually very impactful. So we're getting 42 increased global physical damage from this graft, and we're getting increased warcry cooldown recovery rate from this one. Now 22% is pretty significant, so it's bringing our general's cry down from about 1.5 to about 1.3, which is why that's going off more often. Alright, before we jump into the passive tree, I wanted to address why I'm doing this in a different spot. I was just farming, getting ready for stream, and I was doing a syndicate run, and I dropped a ambush scarab of containment. I wanted to make a note here because this is a very lucky drop for me. It is above 1 divine in value, so we're going to be using that to kind of boost our character quite a bit, hopefully, but I wanted to go ahead and capture that while I was in here. Alright, opening up the passive tree, one thing has changed that is very, very significant, and it is we are now ascended with the Farrul's Bloodline. So we now have warcry speed and primal roar. Warcry speed and the attack speed per minion do not help us at all, but the 80% increased damage is a constant thing we have up because we've always warcried recently. So we're getting 80% increased damage from this at all times. We've kept time of need, and I'm considering just keeping it permanently, as the every 4 seconds regen is honestly pretty nice sometimes, and removal of curses is a bonus there. If I wanted to remove this, I would take away both of these nodes, grab this armor, ES, and minion, and then grab this 25% minion to make up for that. The other option is we go for the Farrul's Spectre instead of my time of need, which might not be a bad option, as we can get 3% regen, cannot be stunned, and increased damage from Fertile Will. Not a whole lot has changed since yesterday. We've grabbed some life nodes here, and we grabbed a little bit of intelligence here. We really need to fix our attributes, but that is something to do today. We also still have an empty jewel socket, which is another one of the easy upgrades that I'm going to be doing very, very soon. We want dot multi here. We also kind of want dot multi here and here, but we'll see if we can afford getting some dot multi. The other thing we're going to do is we're probably going to invest in a cluster jewel today. So we're going to get a large physical cluster, put it right here, and then get another reservation efficiency small cluster to put in there. And I think that's it for the overall updates. So build is playing really well. It's actually feeling much better since we've gotten the cooldown recovery rate, and we're sitting at somewhere around 300k fizz DPS when we have all 10 stacks of General's Cry, and that's not including Reap. And that is coming from both this reaching about 200k base, and then the aura from Pride having a pretty significant impact once they have stayed in it for 4 seconds. So plans for today: we still need to upgrade a lot of our gear. We have so much life that we could have from all these pieces, and I really need to spend some time making sure that we're getting a good amount of life from our gear, as that's, I think, one of the key pieces of our defenses at the moment. Number 2 is we're absolutely going to be grabbing some of these jewels that we need today, and then getting a cluster jewel set up. Other than that, we're going to be doing Eater and Exarch today, and then we'll go back to farming maybe essences and then advancing the Atlas. One more thing that's pretty high on our priority list is recrafting our boots. Our boots aren't the worst thing, but they're really not great. The reason that this is such a priority is there is an implicit on boots from Eater that can give us increased cooldown recovery rate for General's Cry, and it can go anywhere from like 15% to 40%. Alright, so I've got a T16 here we're going to run as a showcase. Shouldn't be anything too crazy. It's got LA weakness and max resistances, which is going to suck for our fire res, but that's alright. Other than that, we're just going to run it with Mavens, as we still have that quest to complete. Okay, we're just going to run through. I don't care about Delirium. I don't want my screen turning gray. There it is. Okay. Moving on from there, we're just going to go find the breach, run that. Alright, well, that's what I get for being overconfident in a map, reducing my alley res to, what, 64? Okay. Alright, here's the breach. And we're good to go there. Throw that down. He's so loud. Okay. It's so incredibly loud. Alright, now for the boss. And just tank everything. Maybe? I don't know, the degens here are a little rough. Wasn't too bad. Yeah, that's about how the build plays. I got a little overconfident with the LA weakness and negative max resistance in Hubris and got punished for it, but that's alright. But yeah, once again, the plan for today is just continue advancing. So we've got the Screaming Invitation and the Incandescent to do today, and we'll be going through that as well as just farming to get some more upgrades. Once again, if you want to see the progress of this build, I will be going live here shortly. So if you want to, stop by Twitch or watch here on YouTube. If you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and in the comments below, tell me about how your league starts going. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.